Well, good win for our team. First time out there on the floor playing against some different types of defenses. So it's our first opportunity to go against, whether it was matchup or zone. And I think it took us a while to massage the game, but I thought we did some good things by, getting it down low. And there was a lot of unselfish passing and plays, I think, in the game that resembled what we want to be about. And, we take that as a positive. Obviously, with a couple guys going down with injuries, had some young guys playing a lot of minutes, so it's good to get that experience for them. And, I think Justin had a decent night. Also think Al continues to show, and got to get Clifton in there a little bit more now, too, with our front court trouble. But all in all, good basketball game for us to win. Anytime you have an experience like we had on Friday night that was really tough to take, you question your confidence, you start to question your togetherness, you start to question some things. So quick turnaround, be able to get up off the mat, come back and get a win is good. And now we quick turnaround to get to Seton Hall.
First question, Zach.
You said since the spring that freshmen kind of have a weird leg up because everybody's sort of learning together with a new staff and a new system and everything. Was maybe some of those performances, Al and Justin tonight, maybe a little bit reflective of that in your mind? Probably
a little bit. Justin had a good game for him to sort of play because he was given an opportunity to play inside and around the paint area. He got some he got some catches in there around the bucket where that's where he's going to be at his best right now early in his career, is either finishing, rebounding, or attacking the basket in tight areas. So he was able to show, I think, a little bit in those tight quarters what he can kind of be for us in the zone or maybe in the post at times. Al is a high-level IQ for a freshman. I mean, you can just watch him play, and some of the plays he makes him look easy. And, he's obviously got a good feel for the game, so as we keep continuing to play and practice, he's only going to get better. But the other guys, they're learning too. And the adjustment for those guys is to try to play a different style from something that they're used to. So, yes, I think the freshmen being on the first leg, being asked to do something they've never known, is probably a little bit easier than the older guys who have been asked to do something else that have to change. These guys don't have to change, the young guys. They just have to do what we ask them to do.
Here.
Coach, what's the preliminary report on Juwan?
Sprained his ankle, and as far as I know, he's out until further due. I don't know if he'll play on Wednesday. I didn't get any report. Probably hear something later in the week. But he turned his ankle. I think they tried to retape him, and he said he couldn't play. So we'll play it by ear.
Mike?
Kind of going on Zach's questions, two kind of uneven performances from Rob and Josh just out of the gate. Is it as simple as just kind of learning this new system?
I think so. I think it's just learning what's a good shot, what's a bad shot, what's the flow of the game. I thought Rob did a nice job tonight defensively. I think he played extremely hard. I don't think he forced anything tonight. 4 assists, 1 turnover, had 14 points, and an air characteristic 2 for 6 at the line. I thought he had a good game. Josh is struggling with his shot here a little bit, and he's getting some good looks. But, again, I think he played 28 minutes. He had 7 assists, 2 turnovers. You make a couple of those open threes, and they go down. He ends up with a really nice night as well. So those guys just got to keep hanging in there. I think they're going to be very, very important pieces to the puzzle.
True.
The first couple exhibition games and on Friday night, you guys kind of got off to a slow start. How would you assess the start you guys got off to tonight?
I actually don't remember. But thinking about the beginning of the game, I think we got off to a really good start in terms of the first 4 to 8 minutes of getting fouled. I think when you take the free throw line into account, probably in the first 8 to 12 minutes, the score should have been a little bit different. Rather than it be 1 or 2 possessions, it should have been 3 or 4 possessions. That's probably the thing that looking at it the most. We got fouled a ton early. You capitalize on the foul line, you extend that lead, and you probably grow it into halftime. But we hung in there pretty good. We're not defending the 3, and that's part of just being able to be good at your system and do what you're doing. And whether that's scouting or attention to detail on certain guys, I think we've given up 30 made threes in 2 games, which is astonishing. And some of the ones that go in, they're hard. So I guess, right now we have to work really, really hard defensively to kind of start to look at how we can eliminate the three-point line a little bit better, because if you give up threes at the rate we're giving them up, it's not a good thing.
Mike? Oh. Brent?
What can you take away from tonight's game and use going forward for the rest of the season?
Well, I think anytime you get a win, you got to celebrate it, number one. I think our guys are still probably a little shell-shocked from Friday night, on how to react and how to respond. What's it feel like after a win with the new staff and all that. So, but we talked after the game. I think one thing right now that's very, very new is the roles. And I think you see some guys right now trying to figure out where they stand. And, for us, continuing to establish our rotation, continue to establish what we're asking guys to do is going to be key moving forward. But to get a win and get it out of the way is great. Going on the road against Seton Hall is going to be a huge test for us. So we just have to focus in a short amount of time here, find a way to get a little better, and also find a way to see if we can stay fresh and maybe get a little bit more healthy. But we'll go with what we got.
Stu?
Coach, it seemed like Ron made the most of his opportunities in the paint tonight. He was 7 to 9 from the field. Team high 17 points. Just what impressed you most about what he was able to do down low?
Well, sometimes against the zone, you forget about, the post. And, Duran has an advantage down there size-wise. And I think sometimes the guards, especially against the zone, can forget about him down there. And I thought we did a good job of finding him in the seams and hitting him with some good passes. Devontae, to start the second half, had a good one. I think Rob hit him with one. And he gets it that deep down there. He's very crafty in and around the basket. He can use the rim. And if he gets positioned, we trust him. And I thought he did a good job of really being a little bit of pressure release sometimes, getting the ball in the high post or the mid post, and he made great passes out of the post too. So he had I thought, a really good game. If you add in the free throws, and he's a better free throw shooter than that, if you add that in, he had a terrific game in terms of efficiency. I mean, he did his job.
Jeff?
What did Al and Justin kind of do in practice to earn the minutes they got tonight?
Well, Al's really been productive in terms of assisted turnover, quality shots. And defensively, he's hung tough and he's done, so to speak, what we've asked him to. But most part, he's made more plays for others in the coming days. It hasn't just been a shot maker. He's been able to get guys with an extra pass or get a bucket. He had a really good workout yesterday before practice, probably one of his best practices. So, getting a feel for him. And he hasn't even practiced half the practices compared to everybody else. So we've been excited about him. He's just been out. Justin got a lot of run tonight due to injury, obviously. And being that the game was in a zone, it gave him some spots where he could catch the ball and, like I said, kind of tight areas and show his athleticism and whatnot and play to his strength, which is, finishing around the basket and whatnot. But both guys did a really good job. And, Clifton got his first action tonight, and hopefully we can build on that with him as well.
Seth?
Coach, with Josh kind of struggling to find the touch on his shot, I guess where do you draw the line between wanting to let him shoot his way out of the slump and wanting to have the ball in the hands of hotter players?
Josh, I think right now, early in the seasons, probably some of his percentage-wise is probably thinking, is it a good shot or a bad shot? He's got to get away from that. As long as he takes the good shots, the inside-out ones, the ones that are open, he'll make it. I also think fatigue. I think fatigue in his legs. I think he's a little beat up right now. I don't think he has the legs he had maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, so maybe freshen him up a little bit. Not going to tell Josh to not stop shooting. I think it's one of the best things he does is be able to catch and make 1-2 step or open three. So usually the percentages come back around. He works at it so hard that the law of averages will probably come back around for him.
You touched on it in a couple different places, but in particular, how pleased were you with the way that Duran and Justin kind of handled the zone? It seemed like you mentioned feeding the post, being release valves and things, but just generally operating in more high traffic areas.
I thought they did a good job for the very first time you're going up against the zone, whether it was a matchup or a regular zone. Sometimes you get caught up in that, but I thought when we got it in there, the percentage of something going well was good. And Duran in particular really carved out some space. I thought the perimeter guys did a good job of finding them. Justin in the high post to the mid post had his opportunities. He also finished on the baseline a few times. So I thought those two guys were pretty efficient down there. They gave us an opportunity to get it down there and get it in there without turning it over. I mean, Duran didn't turn it over, and Justin had 2. So if you look at it, you look at the amount of field goals they got and the amount of times they touched it and didn't turn it over, they were pretty good.
You mentioned Al having a good workout on Saturday, but the team as a whole, were you pleased with how they came back Saturday following Friday night?
Yes. I think that those guys were, like everybody, probably wondering what the heck was going to happen on Saturday morning when they woke up. There's not a whole lot of time to turn around, and I think that type of a loss early in the season can really, not only knock you on your heels, but can shake you a little bit. So we focused on moving on as fast as we possibly could because we knew we were going to play against a system that was different, and we hadn't seen a ton of zone and worked on a ton of zone. So we spent our time trying to get our offense organized because I thought our offense crushed us on Friday night. Inability to run good offense hurt us a lot. So I felt that we spent our time, offensively working against some of the things that they were trying to do. If we could be more efficient, not turn it over and get off to a better start, that would help. So we did that and studied some film. You have one day in between. It's hard to get out there and practice like that. Now that we have 2 days and we play on Wednesday, we have to find the best way to move forward, going into that next one, which I think we're going to spend some time studying Friday night. And we'll look at tonight as well, but Friday night in particular, I think, is going to help us moving forward. We haven't had a whole lot of time to sit those guys down and do that yet. So over the next 3 days or whatnot, I think we'll take some time to learn, see if we can get recovered physically a little bit, especially if we're going to be down 2 front court players going to Seton Hall, and make sure that we're ready to go. We're going to have to get a lot more physical. We're going to get a lot tougher, and Wednesday is going to be a great opportunity to kind of see how that works.
All right, Coach.
Thank you.